My brother, 16M, keeps trying to come into my 14F room late at night. Is this weird? My brother is 16 and I am 14. Normally he stays in his room and plays on his PC until late at night, around 2-3 a.m. I'm usually awake around that time as well, and normally we don't really talk to each other during this time. He usually comes out around 2 a.m. to take a shower and go to sleep, but recently he's been trying to come into my room randomly. When I go to close the door or try to get him to leave, his excuse is that he just wanted to say hi. Nothing else has happened except for those occasional appearances, but I was wondering if this is normal. I would brush it off, but I don't know why he would do it so late, especially since he hasn't done anything like this before. Too long did not read. My brother is acting different than usual and tries to come into my room randomly at 2 a.m. to say hi to me. Tell your parents and lock your door. Are you hinting at not feeling safe? Like he has ulterior motives? Or it's just odd behavior and you don't know what to think? It's your brother, you would know better than us. If him saying hi to you late at night seems out of the ordinary, tell your parents. It could be that he just wants to say hi and hang out. If your door opens to the inside of the room, you can get a simple doorstop. It's a triangle you push under the door that stops someone from opening it, and they're only a few bucks. No door modifications needed. This is strange. What kind of relationship do you have with him? Are there any other red flags? First and foremost, protect yourself. Get a doorstop, or lock your door at night. Depending on your relationship, ask him why he's doing it. There could be a lot of different reasons. No matter what he says, continue to protect yourself. Keep your door locked and set a boundary verbally that he cannot come into your room at night or unannounced. Speak with a trusted adult. It sounds like he's lonely and just wants to hang out. My brother used to do this, but it's cause he'd sneak out to smoke weed and come back in high and goofy wanting to bug me. You don't need anyone to validate whether this is weird. Your gut is telling you what you need to know. You have every right to feel uncomfortable, and his reasoning is even more creepy. My brother does that even now as adults. He's on the autism spectrum, so boundaries are not an easy thing for him. He genuinely just wants to talk. And I still kick his ass for waking me up. As everyone else says, trust your senses and talk to an adult. Hopefully it's nothing and he's just being weird, but it's better to protect yourself in case it's more sinister. And, if anything else, your quiet time is important, so how dare he interrupt it? It is weird because he doesn't even have the decency to knock. Like before, the idea that it is weird in a creepy way, an expectation of privacy is normal, especially that late at night. Tell your parents, and tell him in the daytime to stop. Try to arrange some bonding time in the evenings if the issue is that he is lonely. Beyond that, he is old enough to entertain himself. Maybe he just wants someone to talk to or hang out with. I mean, you are his sister and you're awake. But you should tell him it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. Tell him you noticed his behavior is different. Set boundaries and lock your door. If you're scared, tell your parents. It's weird AF. He has the whole day to talk to you, but he only wants to come at 2 a.m. Talk to your parents about this. They deserve to know. It is weird, but people usually get more social at night and he's probably just lonely. It is year 2 of pandemic and I miss my sister too a bit. I would just tell him to knock. Please tell your parents now and get a lock for your door. I was in an incredibly similar situation and it didn't end well for me. If your gut is telling you that it is creepy and making you uncomfortable, trust it. Hopefully your parents will support you and have your back. I'd tell your parents about this. It could be totally innocent. He may just be bored and want someone to talk to, or he may just be being annoying on purpose like siblings do sometimes. Either way, he should be doing this and it needs to be stopped. Honestly, if I were you, I would trust my gut. If it feels weird, or off, to you, and it makes you feel uncomfortable, there's reasons for your feelings. Please talk to your mom, female adult, and tell her what you're feeling and why. Reason I say mom or female adult is because she was your age before, she should understand your feelings better than a guy. Very weird. Lock your door. Here's my advice, similar to some other comments, talk to him about it when both parents are present, just come out and ask. Why exactly were you trying to come in my room at 2 a.m. this morning, without knocking? Wait for his response and just say, what if I was naked, getting ready for bed? Pay close attention to his reaction. From there on out, I would strongly advise locking your door at night, or any time your parents aren't home or are asleep. Be safe, don't cause any undue tension between yourself and your brother, But if he's making you uncomfortable, protect yourself and pay attention to how he acts around and towards you, and of course don't be afraid to talk to your parents. Tell your parents he is behaving oddly and you are concerned with what he might be viewing or reading on the internet. It needs more than just you keeping him out of your room, his behavior needs to be looked into. Don't imply his actions are sexual from the get-go. That will make them defensive. Just show concern and ask them to look into it. Sounds pretty normal to me. Yes, what he's doing is very weird. He needs to stop. 100% no question about it. Have you noticed any signs of anxiety or stress or psychotic behaviors lately? If the answer is yes, maybe he gets some sort of anxiety or fear at night and he tries to calm himself down by being in a safe zone in his idea, which can be your room with you in it. Have a talk with your parents and him separately, I guess. Maybe he opens up to you about a mental health situation he is dealing with. Just ask him not to do that anymore. If it continues, tell your parents you feel uncomfortable, and maybe ask if you can have a door lock. All the posts about trusting your intuition are spot on. Put your own safety, comfort first in this situation and say it a trusted parent, adult, or tell him firmly that he isn't welcome, while also mentioning that you'll be telling an adult if he doesn't comply. It could be a phase, it could be nothing, but you know what your dynamic has been until this point, so better to nip it in the bud now. It's weird and not normal. I think you're right to be scared. It is creepy. It's not normal for siblings to try to get into each other's rooms at 2-3 a.m. 1. Tell your parents. 2. Tell him to stop. 3. Tell a teacher if your parents won't listen or do anything to stop him. 4. Lock your door. Do you feel confident saying something like, "At night, I feel more comfortable being alone in my room. Even if I am awake, it is my me time, and I use it to decompress and be with my thoughts privately. I would appreciate it if you didn't come to my room at that time. If, however, you have something important to talk about with me, you can always talk to me in the morning or before I close my door at night. Before, for example, 10 p.m. at night, something in the lines of that." Give him a boundary to your best ability. Phosphorus monosulfide. Does he try to enter your room with any force? For example, does he try to push the door and you're closing it in his face in a way? I didn't really understand the nighttime interaction. Does he knock on your door? Does he simply enter? Also, does your door lock? I suggest you tell your parents because that is creepy and definitely not normal behavior. Stop coming into my room at night, you're creeping me out. With a firm gaze and absolutely no smile. If he tries to argue or play it off, I'm not playing. I'm going to tell Mom, Dad if you keep it up. As the older sibling, he should and probably does know better. Just be firm. Tell your parents. His age makes me suspicious. There is so much sibling porn out there and you don't know what he has been watching. Get a lock on your door. If you're suspicious, I think you're picking up on something. I have a lot of siblings and it's normal to go to each other's rooms, but it's not okay if it's late at night. My advice is start locking your door at night and talk to your parents. If he is being an obnoxious brother, siblings being siblings, then I would be obnoxious back lol, but if you are getting a genuine weird feeling, then I would tell him you're feeling uncomfortable, and then if he doesn't stop, talk to your parents. Lock your doors while you sleep, if possible. My siblings and I would hang out in each other's rooms all the time, but usually not late at night, and we'd always knock. He might just be lonely and genuinely want to hang out. It seems like it's making you uncomfortable though. I think it's okay for you to tell him that you'd like to be alone at night and that you'd appreciate it if he'd knock first. The behavior of visiting one's sibling in their room isn't abnormal in of itself, but the time at which he chooses to do it, the lack of knocking, and the sudden onset of this behavior is. I would definitely confront him about this behavior at a neutral time, daytime, parents nearby. State boundaries which set your expectations. E.g., times he can visit, needs to knock and wait for an answer before entering, etc. If he violates those boundaries, get very stern with him and ask your parents to intervene. Hey op. No, it's not really normal unless you two are super close and trying to scare or annoy one another or potentially enjoy late night talks. I'd let your parents know, and it can be in passing, not a full serious convo. Just, hey, brother's name has been coming into my room each night between 2-3 am. It's concerning and weird, pass the salt. It may not be sexual like many commenters are saying, it could be insomnia set on by depression. Just a thought. They can address from there, but lock the door to be safe. My older brother and I would always go into each other's rooms as teens and just hang out or try to annoy each other, but we were very close growing up. I don't think this is alarming behavior, but if you're not a fan, just lock your door or ask him to stop. It could be weird, like really weird. But I wouldn't assume that off the bat. He is a 16-year-old male. If I recall the time I was 16, I would get insanely lonely in the middle of the night. Obviously keep your guard up, but maybe he just wants to have a chat in the middle of the night. I don't think it's all that weird, to be honest, especially since you are both still awake. I definitely think the whole, he's some kind of deviant, line in the replies is definitely going to an extreme stretch of things. I can only suggest speaking to him and asking what he wants. Do you think he wants to talk to you? Does he have a problem he wants help with and thinks you'll have privacy away from your parents? Maybe go for a walk with him and talk to him, see what's up. You can make it clear to him you don't want him disturbing you when you are asleep, but I'd definitely investigate why he wants to come in, just in case there is something that needs resolved. Well, he's not inherently doing anything wrong, but still it would be best if he kept these visits during the day. So you can make the rule that he's not allowed to basically wake you up at night, so no visits after your parents go to bed. This will keep you safe from any possible reason he does it, give you your privacy, and it sounds sane and healthy to ask.